Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. This is a question that Sharon asked me. How can I eat so many muffins and not put on weight and manage to keep my figure? Well, it's a long story, so while I'm doing this, I'm going to sit there and be doing my cultures because I have to feed them this morning. I feed them every morning. It started on because of a Puerto Rican trip. You're probably saying, what does Puerto Rico have with you trying and holding your weight? Well, that was the beginning of what I went through my life. I had spent most of the summer making all my school clothes for September. The trip was sometime in August, and school stops at May 25th. We go back on the 28th. This is in Texas. I don't know if it's changed. So my mother started me in the spring on the weekend to make the clothes for the following year. And my father won a trip to Puerto Rico. Well, my mother didn't want to go on it. But she said Sandy would enjoy it. So my father took me. I had a blast. We got there, I had my new clothes that I had made. I had gotten my hair done and all, and we got to take a plane to Puerto Rico. We had to go to Florida, switch over to get to Puerto Rico. I was excited. I was trying new food. Every afternoon when we came in from touring Puerto Rico, there was this big basket of fresh fruit. They made it like a cocktail, really good. I asked my father, did he want any of this? Because I was hungry. No, I ate the whole thing. An hour and a half later, now remember, it takes 5 minutes to leave your stomach. I ate again another meal. We'd go down and have dinner, and I got a dessert. Flaming Jubilee over vanilla ice cream was my first dessert there. Then, early morning, we'd have a slight snack. And then we'd go have breakfast. We'd go around and we'd have lunch. Then we'd go and snack in the afternoon because I'm growing, so we're eating a ton of food. Well, after, I think it was a whole week in Puerto Rico, we were getting ready to leave. My clothes didn't fit me. They had to call housekeeping. And they had to safety pin me to my clothes. And these are the clothes I was supposed to be wearing to school. Now they're too small. And I had spent a long time making all of those. So when I had come home, I was safety pinned. Literally, you could see the safety pins on the waist. Here, I was just safety pinned all over. My mother saw me. She was mad. So I'm actually measuring out right now. Oh dear, I need this. So, my mother put me on a diet. I could not snack anymore. I could not do this. I could not do that. She controlled everything that went in my mouth. So, she had 2 weeks to get this weight off of me. She did it. Begrudgingly, I couldn't have seconds with dinner. I couldn't snack anymore. And that was it. So my mother taught me at a very early age to contain my weight. Okay, getting to high school, because she made packed lunches up to that point. But when we went to high school, my mother would buy me a month's worth of lunches, the little ticket, and then they'd clip it. And I know only old people would know this, young ones probably don't. And we would sit there and get our lunch. I didn't like it, so I quit eating lunch. So I got to the point where I was only eating breakfast and supper. I wouldn't snack or anything. I just wouldn't eat. I did not like the school lunches. Saved my mother money. She should have been happy about that. And then, so I learned to live off 2 meals a day. Well, newlyweds don't have a lot of money. Well, so I was already accustomed to eating 2 meals, so I could cut it down to 1. And that's what I did until we got money to where we could start eating, There was one point where I could only eat a half a cup of cooked rice and a half a cup of cooked beans and water. And this is when my husband introduced coffee to me. And I had coffee. I could have a teaspoon of sugar and a little bit of milk in it. And that was all the food we had. And we ate like that for 2 weeks. So if anybody's talking about it's hard, I've been there. So you can't complain with what I have. Well, the only time I could eat my tail off was when I was pregnant. I took full opportunity of that. I'm not lying. I ate my way through it because I knew I could put an extra 10 pounds on, plus the baby's weight, because I needed that 10 pounds to nurse. Now, for women who don't nurse, every time you have a child, you're going to have 10 pounds of extra weight on your body because that was food for the baby. So if you have a second child and you don't nurse it, that's another 20 pounds you're putting on. And it's going to keep adding up. Women who abort, you have those extra pounds on you. And they don't like leaving because that's food for the baby. I nursed my children 9, 10 months, a long time. Okay? So, after having children, I was a Mrs. 8, had children, went up to a Mrs. 10. And I still ate pretty much the way I did. I would eat one meal in the morning and maybe one about 4 o'clock in the afternoon because my husband stayed up all night. I could eat at 6 p.m. because I wasn't going to go to bed till 2 o'clock in the morning anyway because he was an artist. So I'd have 2 meals a day. Then I hit menopause, that wicked little menopause. I had just gotten accustomed that I was going to permanently be a Mrs. 10. I liked being Mrs. 8, but I had to throw my clothes out, get a Mrs. 10. Well, hit menopause. Well, that didn't help. I went up another size. Well, so I'm up to a 12 now. Now, through all of this, I've maintained my weight, except when I'm pregnant. That's the only time I really enjoyed eating. I could eat anything at that time. That was such a pleasure. Now that I'm in menopause and I've slowed down, I don't eat 2 meals a day. I really basically eat 1 meal a day. Okay? In the morning, I'll have fruit or yogurt or something, but it's not a big breakfast. It's like a little tiny snack that I eat. And then around 11 a.m., to you, it's still morning. To me, I've been up since 4. That's 6 hours. Most people get up 6, eat at 12. Well, I get up at 4, so if I eat around 10:30, 11, that's what would my lunch be. Oh, I need this now. So, I have learned through my life how to eat this way. Now, there's a trick. There really is a trick to eating. If you get up in the morning, I have a glass of water. I don't know about you, but I have a glass of water. And I wait till I get hungry. And then I'll have a muffin or 1 cup of cereal or a glass of milk or buttermilk or a couple of biscuits with cheese or sometimes with jelly. Sometimes I'll have cream cheese on a piece of toast. But, you know, I go in those, or I'll have just 2 eggs or something very, very small for breakfast. Only if I am hungry. So I don't eat all these muffins by myself, no. I have some boys that help me eat them. But believe you me, I can demolish them just as much as they can. Now, I know that chemicals in the food blow you up because it's like being poisoned. If an animal's poisoned and they die, what happens to them? You know, you can see it. That's what they're doing to us with this instant food and stuff they're doing. Sandra, that was really stupid. I know it was. Oh, God. Get it off there before I remember. So, it's more or less that I have been dieting. Now, that's why, now, most people think that I I'm taking something to lose this weight. It's not. It's just that I have gotten comfortable eating this way. It's difficult at first. I mean, I cried every morning when my mama wouldn't let me eat. She said, no, you're getting back in these clothes. We are not getting rid of these, and you're not going to be a blimp. Of course, she was, but she wasn't going to let me be one. And she started that a long time ago with me. Now, a lot of people are heavy, and I heard a lot about this Mounjaro stuff, and this medicine doctor gives you, makes you sick and everything, vomiting and all, and it's hard on your body. And I said, well, let me buy Mounjaro and see what it's all about. Okay? Now, I did this. I put the money out for that stuff. And I did a video that was public, and I sat there and told you exactly what was in it, where it was put together, compound and all. And I told you that I was going to try it. I had 2 people willing to try it for me. But the thing is I couldn't control what they ate or how they ate, what I would consider, what would be appropriate so I could judge it. Now, when I was on this Mounjaro for 30 days, I tried it. I lost 5 to 6 inches off my waist. Okay? So, what 1 week I overate. I didn't lose the weight as much. Sometimes I would take it and I wouldn't eat until probably lunchtime, what I called lunch at 11, and I would eat 1 meal and I was fine, and the weight came off faster. I didn't look at the scale. I was measuring my waist. My waist is my big telltale sign. You know, my hips and all will follow through with my waist. I sat there and played with it, took snacks, see how it worked. So if I was quiet and I ate very little, I would lose the weight. If I was more active and ate less, I lost more weight. So I could see how my waist was going this way and this way according to how I ate. So I knew the Mounjaro worked for people who want to lose weight. And I did not put it public for the public to see because I have young people. And I know children, until they become adult, have to sit there and grow and get the nutrients so they can grow into an adult and they don't cause any problems with their body. So I was very careful that I did not make it for the public. And I didn't want to harm the children. This was very important to me. So I put it under, you have to join to get that recipe. Now, I made my recipe. Now, I know how to read the ingredients on a bottle and in the order. And I told you where all the ingredients came from, what it was, how you did it. And I made my own ratio. And that was the one that I was on for 30 days. It has held in spite of what I do, which is really nice. But it's because I can eat these muffins and things because I was trained a long time ago. My mother put me on a diet. All because I enjoyed a vacation a bit too much. Let's say a bit too much. That's it. Now, for a woman's body, let's talk about it naturally. Naturally, when you hit 21, that's the size. If you eat healthy, you'll have your size down. All right? That's if a mother makes sure. See, in my mother's home or my parents' home, the only time we had a soda, and we had small bottles about this big, 8 ounces, 6 ounce bottles. That's how they were sold at the time. Only if we had a birthday. We did not get sodas throughout the year. When I had a meal, I had milk with all my meals. I wasn't allowed to have sodas with my hamburger. I had milk. My brothers had it as well. My mother was very careful about this. No desserts were bought. They were made at home. Breads were made at home until they started bringing them. My mother started buying them. I think it was Wonder was the first bread that came out. And they said, just like homemade, which it was at the time. But it's not anymore. So that messed that up. But I grew up in a household like that. I didn't have, the only time is if I got 5 cents, I could sit there and buy candy. And I was so accustomed to eating food, real food, and we could eat the fruit off the trees on the way home as well. So believe you me, we ate. We ate a lot of fresh fruit. A lot of the men were hunters at that time. My mother and grandmother canned Nonu, which is Piedmontese for grandfather. He took care of the garden out in the yard to feed 3 children. I mean, we were eating a ton of food. We went to the parks and got free nuts and stuff like that. But candy was at Halloween. And like I told you, I love going trick-or-treating. I had come back with a big bag of candy. 6 months later, I never touched the candy. And my mother said, are you going to eat it? You are going to eat this candy. Now she's telling me I have to eat the candy. I didn't want the candy. I didn't. It would go into the trash. That's how I was. I didn't want candy. I liked good, wholesome food. I wanted home-cooked food is what I wanted. Home-cooked desserts, cookies and stuff like that that were homemade. When we went trick-or-treating, Mrs. Sweeney used to make candied apples. There were other parents that sat there and made toffee and wrapped it up for us. So we got things like that, not from the store. But I learned at a very, very early age, only because I had done all that sewing. My mother wasn't going to have me do anymore. She taught me how to diet. So if you're heavy and you wish to learn the Manjaro recipe instead of paying them, because the way they have it set, you'll be on it forever. You can sit there. I know, but I was so afraid to put it public that if you join, you'll find it in those videos exactly how to make it to help you lose weight. The trick is that I will tell you if you do join to get the Manjaro recipe that I have that you make at home. You have to, what was I going to say? Oh, when you have it, you cannot have coffee, you cannot have water, you cannot have anything. You've got to have this. And when you have it, don't put any food or water behind it. Well, you might need some water because that vinegar does burn your throat a bit. But the thing is that don't eat until you get hungry. I went 6 hours. The first time I had that, I want you to know, the first 3 days, I went 6 hours before I got hungry. You know how I knew I was hungry? I got lightheaded. But I didn't eat. I took that in the morning. I was running all day. And then I realized by the 3rd day, I said, wait, I'm not hungry, but I'm getting lightheaded. That was a sign that I knew I had to eat. But then I eat the way I always do. I make sure when I hit that point when I'm hungry, if it's for breakfast, it'd be 1 muffin, a glass of milk. If I had dinner, I didn't have a big plate with desserts. I would sit there and just eat until I could feel full, not stuffed. There's a difference between feeling full and being stuffed. Stuffed, you practically belch it up in your way out to here. When you eat till you're full, your body's content. All of a sudden you know, I really don't have to eat anymore. I'm all right. And that's what you do, and you push the food away. What's ever left, you say, no, I don't want it anymore. You'll notice as you take the Manjaro, you eat less and less. In other words, you're not hungry all the time and you feel like you have to stuff yourself. You find that you eat, but you eat less and you're content more. Once you get to where you're at, you continue eating this way. You don't have to take the Manjaro, then you sit there and eat accordingly, not to stuff yourself. So you see me eating these desserts. I'm making this homemade bread. I try the biscuits, the muffins, and how can I do it? Because I've been trained a very long time on this, all because of a Puerto Rican trip and me enjoying myself to the fullest with their food. It was just, I remember being in San Juan, in the San Juan Hotel. I remember we looked out, we could see the ocean. I remember the time I almost drowned. My father was taking pictures of me. I was out in the water playing. All of a sudden, this big wave came. It's taking me out to sea, and I don't swim. Safe standing. That was it. So that's what it was. It was all because of a trip, and I learned to diet. So if you're heavy, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be easy. I'm not going to lie to you. But remember, that's what I did. Like I do. When I have my meals now, I have water unless I want a glass of milk. You don't find me drinking tea and coffee and sodas and stuff. I needed it for a barbecue recipe, and I needed a root beer. The smallest they had was a 6-pack, small cans. I got 5 of the cans still there. I only used 1 can, and it's been, 6-8 months, and the soda's still sitting there. See what I mean? It's not something that's prevalent in my home. And another thing is that when you eat more nutritious, you will find that you do not crave food the way you normally do. It's easier on you because everything's in the little bit that you eat. Your body is content faster and quicker. Sharon, I hope this helps you understand, but realize I've been doing this a very long time. So if you wish to do it and you want the Mounjaro recipe I gave, you will have to join. Anybody who wants that recipe, it's freely given. It's there for you to take. It's just that I had to put it under join to keep the children from getting a hold of it, because it seems that a lot of children are given money by their parents to buy their lunch and buy things that they want. And I did not want to expose them to this, so I figured the best thing to do was to lock it up so only adults who would pay for the membership could get it. Okay, so listen, I want all of you to take care. And yeah, do I want a muffin? Yeah, I'll get a muffin and I'll show you what they look like. Now these muffins had to sit in the muffin tin. These are the raspberry orange, okay? I haven't eaten yet this morning. I've just been having grapes. There it is. You see? Now if you cut these open before these things cool in the tin, they're going to collapse. All right? This is why you have to do it like this, because raspberries are very moist. You will not be disappointed. I think tomorrow morning, today I'm going to make blackberry scones and have that for breakfast tomorrow morning for my family. Or if they come in, they can snack on them. Okay, so listen, take care. Bye-bye.